Think meditation is hard? Do me a favor. Take a slow, deep breath in. And now breathe out. Congratulations. You just meditated. Hi, I'm Krystal Jakowski, and this is Breathe In, Breathe Out, a weekly mindfulness and meditation podcast for anyone ready to own their own shit and find a little peace while doing it. Hey guys, it's Krystal Jakowski, and this week's episode I am so excited for you to listen to. I got to talk with Michaell Magrutsche, and I'm telling you, this was a fast-paced, mile-a-minute, insightful, and thought-provoking episode. There were so many times that I found myself wanting to go back to something that we had talked about, only to have us move forward and not be able to revisit. So I will be returning to this recording time and time and time again, and I hope that you find it as enlightening as I did. Michaell Magrutsche, Austrian, Californian, multidisciplinary artist, awareness and creativity educator, speaker, and author. He works on raising the awareness of our limitless human potential and its wisdom. He's an advocate for helping understand neurodiversity. Michaell's dyslexia and dysgraphia forced him to develop an awareness of seeing the world purely from a human perspective. Creating art completed his awareness of what it is to be truly human. You can connect with Michaell through michaellm.com, michaellm.com, and I truly hope that you enjoy this one as much as I did. Welcome back to Breathe In, Breathe Out. I'm Krystal Jakowski. I'm thrilled you're here today. I get to chit chat for a little while with Michaell Magrutsche. Welcome to my podcast.
Hi, Krystal. Thank you for giving me a canvas to paint.
It'll be a very beautiful picture. I'm really excited about it. Yeah. Michaell, why don't you tell our listeners a little bit about you, who you are, where you came from?
Yeah. Let me really, make that very quick because I do it basically on every interview. I was born in Vienna, was a sick child. I got into school when I was 7. Then I got the second hit. I was dyslexic and dysgraphic. So I couldn't understand it. I had to repeat 3 classes at least. So I'm an A personality, right? Yeah. And I hit probably the wall till I was 50, 55. I hit the wall. Oh. I just do it. Try. To finally got the enlightenment that I needed, And that wasn't out of a drama. It was just a long process of trying hard and self-shaming. And I found that I'm just extremer than all the other humans, but basically all the humans feel the same thing that I feel, perfectly systems, and then you don't fit in, but you at the same time, you're driven by your DNA to fit in, to be part, to be inclusive, right? Mm-hmm. That's what God is and all the other stuff. I'm not going into spiritual, but I'm saying that's why you want to experience power. It's not having billions. You want to experience power is be with other humans and see it as a part of you. Then you experienced power. So we're driven DNA to be inclusive, but then the system says, you're not normal, even though the system doesn't define normal, fitting in. Mm-hmm. What is that? What is being a good girl? What is a good boy? What is that? There's no definition, but there's an unbelievable request of that.
Right.
That everybody's supposed to be a good person, a good citizen, a good Christian, a good whatever, Muslim, right. A good whatever. And that, because those are system requirements, because humans were split first in gender. First, genders went together to form a family, right?
Right.
But then comes a system. So the tribe is already bigger systems. And you see already people separating more in women and men or whatever people are better at. And then we have a system of a city with a king. Yeah. And the king says, oh my God, I need to conquer this other town. And what am I going to do with women? Everybody's a human. Everybody's a human. And then two humans, subcategory, woman and man, create a family, and then tribe. Everybody goes together, and they're still all humans. But in a system, all of a sudden, there's a usage for you. For a man, warrior. For woman, hey, just do all the other dirty work. You just clean, make babies. So that's how deep the root of woman versus man is. As this separation that actually I always say, look in nature. Where is there? I mean, is there such a separation of anything? I mean, lions, the women are the hunters, and I mean, this is all. Everything is. There's no strict, static way of how it's supposed to be, how a woman's supposed to be, how a man, how a boy should be, how an adolescent, how an old person should be. And those are stereotypes that were created by systems. And then the next thing was, now we conquer a foreign land and the people look different. Of course, we are the conquerors, so we are better than them. And there we have slavery, then we're racists, and now the systems get more, intricate. So now they say, let's separate them into sexuality. And the fact that we have LBGD, A, B, C, D, F, G, long things is basically because we are so fluid, we cannot be defined sexually. It's not definable. Because humans are fluid,
It's not about the sex or the gender. It's about the fact that you are a human being, which means that you have value exactly as you are, separate of the systems. But the systems have been created all the way around us, and we have all ended up either willingly choosing into those systems or forcibly having it shoved down our throats to the point where we've all ascribed to man, woman, male, female, this is your job, this is my job, instead of accepting that, you know what, I'm human. Nothing else matters. The fact is that I am human and I have value and worth, and I am absolutely beautiful in and of and who I personally am.
And you going back now to human, but look at the nature. In nature, the elephant and the ant are the same. Their proof of existence is the proof that they're valuable. Everybody has a different function. As far as I remember, we're still a part of nature, right? Humans. We're just a different species. So every human is worth because the proof is because he or she exists. So this is, it's a shortcut of what you said. Yeah. You said, and I'm beautiful. That's coming from the system. I'm coming from, look, don't forget we're nature. And I think it's simpler. We're nature. In nature, the elephant and the ant, there's no difference. They don't say, oh my God, I wish I was an elephant because it's so big and great and beautiful. Everything's accepted because it exists. And that's the proof. There is no system value that in the system of the Sahara, the elephant is better. No, it's not. But in the system of religion, we're born, right? Over generation. That's what you said. Yeah. Over generation, we are born in hospitals, a system. We are baptized or whatever, Christian or whatever you do, another system. We go to school. 99% of kids have a unique trait that they're better than anybody else. After school, it's only 3% are gifted. And there it is. So we humanity unconditions themselves. And what the result of that is deep shame and self-shaming. Because you go a static system and because you're conditioned from kid on. Yeah. And what it is we living already in a metaverse. Systems are our metaverse. They are human, man-made systems. They are built by us. We are the gods of systems. We are the gods of religion. We are gods of a hospital, of a school, or whatever, of Nike, of Apple, of whatever. We are the gods of that. So we can, so I say in that right away in that, we are the gods, we can change it because we are the gods, but we cannot alter nature. We can alter nature for us. Mm-hmm. See, this is another disconnect. We can alter nature for us. And what happened can, if, for example, Beijing, the pollution in the Olympic Games and stuff, we can put so much crap in the atmosphere, not to worry about nature. Nature doesn't need us. We can extinct our species by not caring about the environment. It's not about, if we have humans have extinguished themselves, how often? The Mayans, the Egyptians, all these civilizations we have proven in a system proven that we can eradicate ourselves.
Yeah.
But now through the lens of system, we think, we need to save the planet. We don't need to save the planet. We need to save us. And we need to start getting a value. And the fact is that we want to save the planet means that we are completely oblivious, because we need to save ourselves. We need to say, I got to be, when a t-shirt takes hundreds of gallons of water to create, you waste water with one t-shirt.
Right.
Then it's our water. That nature functions without water. It can go with salt water. It doesn't need drinking water. But when we do things like that, the moment I knew that, I was aware. And the moment you're aware, that's why I say there's no steps or anything. What you and I do is expand human potential. Being aware of, that's why podcasts are so good, because human dialogue is the second strongest power that we have. Creativity is number one, and dialogue between human, because we are communicating to so many senses, not just the language and the words, but the spaces, the feeling. Your body reacts to me, my body reacts to you. So there's a lot of communication on, and it's still, according to science, it's only if we would meet in person, it would be 36%. Texting is 4%. And then the last superpower is adaptability, because that's how we make systems work. Systems cannot function if we don't adapt to them, because in nature, everybody is different, right? And even science says we are all unique. We are one of a kind. But systems drive us to be all of the same kind. Nobody can be weird. Nobody can have paint their hair. I mean, it's getting better, but you remember the time where you couldn't color your hairs. Every kid now has colored hair, but
Yeah. Don't be unique.
Don't be unique. You are unique. And it's like, don't be unique.
Don't be yourself.
You cannot not be unique. You cannot not be unique. It's got to sooner or later hit you over the head.
Yeah. Yeah. And without that, like, if we were all the exact same, reality is this would be a really boring world.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean,
it is boring, isn't it, already? I mean, things come out new from systems. Oh, look at this. And you say, I don't need to see it. I've seen that in some way or form, because system always, rewards and drives us to copy, but only because we are unconscious. Because if we were conscious of that, we would use system to help us, not to submit, not to surrender, not to sacrifice for the system. How can you sacrifice for a creation that you did? You're the god of a doll. And now you say, I need to not eat so that I can give some food, pretend food to the doll. It's insanity. It's completely insanity. And we have forgotten that we are conditioned ourselves away, and we see us not as nature and not as systems. So we are the funnel of nothingness,
Yeah.
We don't count, because in systems we need to count, because we are, we belong, and the belong we interpret by being quote unquote normal, even though that is not defined.
Right.
So do you see the conundrum we are? I mean, it's like,
yes, you can't be normal because there is no definition of normal. Nobody really actually knows what normal is. In fact, normal has been reduced to an air quote kind of thing.
Exactly.
Because I'm going to be normal today. What does that mean? Does that mean I'm wearing, anyway, I could go down a rabbit hole there, and I love it. I absolutely love, the way that you illustrated and brought out the fact that, like the ant and the elephant, they don't argue about which one's better and which one's more beneficial to the environment that they're in. And then we talked about school and how in school we are in those systems, and we come out of school and we have throughout those systems learned that, oh, well, I'm not that. And since if you say you're the ant, I'm the ant, but I'm not as grand and beautiful and effectual and smart as that elephant, then I'm not worth anything. And so we do end up learning that shame and that minimalization, which keeps us within those boxes and that framework that the systems have created and that we've adopted, so that we can continue to at least fit in being normal, because the elephant is amazing. Yeah. And everyone else is just here.
Exactly. Is that Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos in the system of monopoly, right? It's a board game, basically. Yeah. I mean, we created it, and we are such genius to create this board game. And in he's a better player. Elon is a better player, Jeff Bezos, in monopoly. Doesn't make him a better human, doesn't make him a better thing of society. Society is a system too, but in nature, as a human, it doesn't make him a better human. Right. He could be the most horrible person, can be the monopoly king.
Right. See, I could be a better Uno player.
Yeah. Whatever. Everybody's good in one thing. And really, if we want to transfer it to that, is we are all the best of the world in one thing. And our life is about figuring that out, getting closer to the puzzle piece that you are. Me hitting the wall till 50 is finding out what is my puzzle piece. So, and I cannot say, because all of a sudden I have a lot of money and this and this and this. No, the feedback for that, for success in the human realm, is fulfillment.
Yeah.
It's not, and success is, I beat everybody in Monopoly, right? I am the winner of Monopoly. But in the human realm it is not dependent on others. It's dependent on, do I feel fulfilled being, right? That's your doing and being. Yeah? Am I fulfilling being after orgasm? You feel fulfilled. You're not thinking right away, oh my God, where's the next orgasm? What is this? You don't think about that, It's just you're fulfilled. You're in the glow of that union. Mm-hmm. And this fulfilled, I'm just giving that example because everybody had an orgasm, I assume, So, that feeling when you go out in nature and say, Jesus, look at this unbelievable sunset, or I look at this sun comes up, oh my God, or there's mist going over a landscape and you're just getting goosebumps,
Yeah.
And that's fulfillment. I mean, you hear music and I said, oh my God, what is that song? I need to find out who's the song. That's fulfillment. It's an experiential, human being experiential awareness, knowledge, that you have experienced that. And it's not that you think it up, because you can think about love and study every book in the history of love. And there's a lot of books on love, right?
Yes.
And you can never know what love is, what we're talking about. You totally miss the context. If you haven't fell in love or be in love, you have no idea was all that knowledge that is system knowledge,
Uh-huh.
and it's worthless. Being is experience.
Yeah. I mean, the reality is that somebody, like, you ask a million different people what love is to them, and you will get a million different responses. And the fact of the matter is that it is different for everyone. Single person. What feels unbelievably fantastic and love to me is so different from what you may see as
make me run away,
Yeah.
Exactly. So and there's nothing wrong. Because see, then it's the comparison. When you say Krystal has that experience, oh my God, and all the guys will say, oh God, if I understand that. And I say, no, I could run away from that.
Mm-hmm.
And right away comes, 5 people like Krystal sings. One person says, okay, I understand, Michaell. And it's not about that. Like you said it in perfect.
No.
Everybody experience of love is different.
Yeah.
Because it's not the love that it's the chemistry that makes it good. It is the chemistry that makes us feel we're right now in the moment, not thinking of paying bills or having pick up our kids or whatever. So it's the experience in the moment and the chemistry that happens when you connect to another human being, which is very good in podcasts. You connect right away, and you connect with other humans, and therefore you see the power, because you're a reflection of me, I'm a reflection of you, and you see that power and looking for the power. Where is she? Even if you have no chemistry, it's just he or she is a part of me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that takes away the strain.
Yeah. 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 My brain. I love this conversation. I love how we're just diving deep and going for it because it's so beautiful. And this is really something that I talk to people about all the time, the individual experience of life and how we all need self-care, right? We all need something to fill our cups and help us feel better. And that's like the fulfillment that you're talking about, right? Mm-hmm. And what works for one doesn't work for the other. And it's such, right? This experience that we are having is so personal and so beautiful. And we get to enjoy that connection with other people on occasion. And then other times we get to have a little introspection and what fills my cup is not going to fill your cup. It goes back to that whole thing about who are you and what does your puzzle piece look like and how can you embody that more and the systems that are out there less.
I think, I'm thinking, because it's really important for me that I make people aware of this. Yeah. I think why did it come that we are navigating in a metaverse, which is called systems, right? We are born in, so we experience humanity through systems. Yeah. And there's cultures and there's rules. In every system is a different rule. So you never be yourself. So I think you can never be yourself because you're born in this. You have parents that are conditioned and condition you to a religion. You go into school, that's a conditioning. So we are in a metaverse and we somehow have to pull us out. Not that systems are bad. You are not aware that you are in a metaverse. Why would the Facebook guy, why would he try to do a metaverse? Because he's oblivious that we are already living in a metaverse. Yeah. So you can be less yourself. And he sells it to you like the system always sells you. It should be every day, it should be sunshine, right? That's a lie also that the system tells. Every day should be sunshine. If it's not, we sell you a Ferrari, a pill, or a face job, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then you and I, we buy the Ferrari, the pill, and the face job, right? Uh-huh. And then we feel not fulfilled. We feel people say, "Oh, you look so good," and the Ferrari, and And we are not feeling that. We're not feeling fulfilled. What does the system say then? And then it says the message that every human gets while navigating through system, there's something inherently wrong with you. And that's the core of the shame. That's the core of all the shame, because in the limitlessness, in that limit, it's so limited, the system.
Yeah.
It cannot have all the facets. We have all the senses and we can deal with each other. Like if you freak out right now, I know what to do. And we don't have to practice that. Or if I freak out, you know what to do. You don't have to know me. You don't have to get a training or anything. I mean, I was a politician, an arts politician. And I had to do, I think, 2 days of ethical training. And it was common sense. We completely lost our common sense. And it's like, why not saying, hey, listen, you should know what is tactful. You should know that. They shouldn't be defined by the society or the system. You should know, hey, I can't pull my pants down and poop in the middle of the floor. You know, you should know that. You're going, dogs know where to go poo, you know, so you are part of.
But you do have to train dogs and cats.
But have you seen that the dogs in the environment live in their poop? Nobody lives in there.
They don't.
Yeah.
But as little puppies, if you don't teach them that they need to go outside, they will go wherever, and it might be the corner
really
of your room.
Quick. It's adapting. That's the nature adapting. I'm saying you're right, because we pull them into an environment, into a metaverse that they are not used to. You know, in nature, they go in a corner and poop. But in you bring them in. But you see in this example, right away they're adapting. Nature always adapts. Remember when the first high-rising were in wilderness or in the Amazon, all the birds flew against the glass, and I think it's not anymore. Because nature has already adapted. You have eagles, you have hawks, you have pigeons, and all this stuff living in those high-rise people. They're adapted.
Yeah.
That's why I say, you know, nature is always adapting. The power of nature is balance. Always keep in balance so it can adapt.
So you struggled and you dealt with a lot of challenges up until you were 55. How did you come to this? How did you come to this understanding and this new perspective on the world? Okay.
So dyslexia you see that with Richard Branson and people that have dyslexia, is actually not a disability. It's only a disability in the system, but it's not a disability in human, because I see context. I have zero education. I mean, basically, I tried to get my GDE, but it's just, I couldn't understand. I couldn't repeat.
Yeah.
And also with my dysgraphia, where I write something down, I could read something you wrote 5 years ago, and I can't decipher this disconnect with my handwriting. Mm-hmm. Tomorrow I couldn't read it. So it's really hard while I was in school. Today you have a keyboard and you can do this. And I didn't know it was a superpower. I realized about 50 that what I see is not wrong. It's actually right what I see. My perception of reality is correct, at least for me, you know?
Yeah.
But 120 interviews later, I see it's correct for everybody else, because I don't have pushback. I say, oh, that's bullshit, you know? Because I go with the human and nature thing. That's the highest truth. Human and nature is the highest truth. System is a very low truth, knowledge, whatever. And systems are here to support us and not to suck our life juice out, fill out forms, always adapting, because they're so limited. We need to fill out forms. If systems were really God created, nobody ever would need to fill out a form or anything, you know? And we pray to them. We say, oh my God, they're so great, you know? You can't even pick up a phone anymore. In the old times, at least you picked up the handle and talk. The freaking sliders and to do this, you know. I mean, it's a very simple example, but that's not elegant, you know?
Yeah.
Elegant should be, it knows like a human. It knows you pick it up and you hold it to your ear and it should start talking.
Yeah.
That it rings like the old days. You hang it up and get it. So I became aware of that. It's a superpower. And articles you read, I'm listening to articles. And I get aware, you get aware. And I got aware through art. Art was my creating art, not the art product. The art product was also interesting, but it's the creation of art. I felt always and then I looked at art making. I looked at that dynamic of a theater group, of a band, of whatever. And I saw that's organic. That's so much more organic than in the system. So, corporate structure, you have a CEO, blah, blah, blah. CEO has no idea what the worker does. What the worker does in the shoe factory, CEO has no clue how it experiential is. He has no awareness. He says, I get so many shoes. One at default, we try to fix that, and that's it. And so much money I get. So he's handling in mind constructs. He's not meant in human as a system. He is system navigating. He's not human navigating. In the theater, that's why I say art is so important, because when you see a play, okay, there might be two leads, right?
Right.
But everybody else, if the lighting is not okay, if the interior is not good, if anything cracks, so there is an unconscious togetherness in that we create this play, and tonight is the night, and tomorrow is the same. It's the night, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's one thing of thing. And that in theory, you don't care if it's a woman or a man, if the person is any race or sexuality. It's about the play.
Yeah.
It's about what we create.
Yeah.
And there is you don't need a right say, okay, we need to have 2 black actors, 2 lesbian actors, and 2 things. That doesn't exist in art. It says whoever is the best person for that part. I mean, they try now to do that, but it doesn't work. It doesn't work. It's and there's a good thing. When you look at art, look at paintings and tell me what race or color that person is. And because of that, just because of that, racism, I denounce racism, genderism, and sexuality. It's bullshit. You cannot even, if it was really had any merit, which systems say, if it had any merit, and society says too, by the way, and society is a system too, then you could tell when you see, and obviously on the thematic you can tell, but if you look at music, listen to music, listen to paintings, and you can tell me who that is by not knowing the song before, that Jay-Z did that song, if you don't know that. So you tell me that, then I say, oh, we should be all racist, all genderphobic, we should all be sexual deviants. But that's why I say it's so powerful. If you get that, and how can it be, and this is from my last book where I wrote, is I couldn't believe that it saved my life. It made me feel a part of humanity, right? Through experience theater and all that stuff and groups. And it's 97% of artists on the poverty level worldwide.
Yeah.
But then when you look at our world, everything is created. Your podcast is created. My background is created. Everything in this world is created. Apple, Nike, McDonald's, all these companies, states, countries, everything is created.
Yeah.
And how can the highest form that isn't for a purpose of a country or merchandise or whatever created, the highest form that's just creation for creation's sake is completely ignored. And artist is called a hobby. See, but that shows you the system conditioning. Mm-hmm. And the same do this with humans. Humans are a nuisance. Right. You are faulty and should be happy that you are in this society and this thing. And there's a shaming again in there. And art, you can't do this with art. They try to do it with art, but the art world, as I know it, as we all know it, is actually about a product. It's like a Walmart of conversation that artists had from the non-physical to the physical. So I define an art product, music, painting, poetry, or anything, book, as a physical representation of the communication from your non-physical to the physical. And the clearer I am in this conversation, the more you will recognize it and the more you will resonate with it, because you know that knowledge. You have that knowledge in you. It's this inherent superpower. Right. You will look at a piece of art, not at any. You can be oblivious to it, but if somebody's clear in your frequency that you recognize that, you don't care. You pay whatever it needs to be paid. You just buy it. You just say, this is transforming me, this piece.
Because it has that value to you as where you're at in your humanity.
Exactly.
I am like you. I absolutely love theater. It was something that transformed my life as well. Because the first show I did, I was 30 years old, 33. And it was the first time that I realized I had worth and value as a human being. Outside of being so-and-so's mom, outside of being so-and-so's wife, or outside of the label of my job and all of the other systems that are out there, religion that I was in, I went to that theater and I'm working with these 33 other people to create this show, and nobody cared. Nobody cared who you were. Well, who you were is the wrong word, but like your gender, your sexuality, your gender, your color, anything. Nobody cared. There's
no focus on that. There's no focus.
We're all here so that we can create this unbelievably awesome show. And it was so beautiful that to this day it has such a fantastic warm spot in my heart because it is such a gift to be reminded that this is a moment. This is a gift. To come together.
Your humanity recognize that. See, that's the power. It's superpower. It's the number one superpower is art creation and creation. Art creation is the number one superpower because we can all align us back to being human. I mean, what do kids do when they have parents that fight and whatever? They go in a corner and doodle that because that keeps them in the moment. And that keeps them in a moment and makes something pretty and gives them feedback, right? But like you said, I felt worthy. And when you draw something, the skill of drawing reflects to you. You can't be not worth anything because you're drawing something. Doesn't matter how good or whatever system says, or you're singing something, or you're playing something,
or you're writing something.
Yeah. I just heard my sister say. She hasn't, she's an artist too, but she hasn't played for a while piano. And she says, I went back for not a long time, 3 months. She wasn't into playing piano. And she says, oh my God, I have so missed it. And I'm a different person. And that is, and only art can do this. Nobody can do this. It's only art creation. And it's not about the product. If you try to create, we're saying this is going to be the next super song. This is going to be the best. You will never get there. It's like a mind construct of the future.
Yeah. Thank you for telling me about your sister, because I have a piano in my house and the systems trained me out of loving playing because I made too many mistakes. And because I made mistakes, I don't like to play. Yeah. I don't like to play when other people are around because I'm personally insecure because the system has trained me to be insecure. But then other people are like, would you just play? I don't care if it's, so I haven't touched that piano. I can't, I'm ashamed to tell you even how long it has been since I have touched that piano. And yet it sits there waiting for me to feel free enough.
Exactly. You know what? I give you I give you one quote that will never, Miles Davis, right?
Yeah.
And he says there is no false note. And think about that in the human context, because there is no pure quote. There's no false human being. There is the beggar on Fifth Avenue has more impact than you and I, because everybody walks around him. Everybody, gives him money, or goes on the other side of the streets, or tries to look away or not think about it.
Yeah. And
the sad thing of the story, so the beggar is not aware that, because he has system value 0. He's a nuisance. If the system could, there would be no handicap, no thing, would be all rid of those people. We don't need them. They're lazy people, right? Another system term, lazy people. Where's lazy in nature? There's no such thing as lazy in nature. So anyway, the other people are unaware. They are affected, but unaware why they're affected, because they're playing Monopoly, and they know in Monopoly, from one day or the other, you can end up like this.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why they're uncomfortable, and they try to compensate, give him money or something. Yeah. And the saddest story of the whole is all are unconscious. All are unconscious of their humanity. Their system, they experience each other through the systems. It's like saying, okay, this is a colored person. It's a person of color. He's bad.
No, he's not.
And once you experience, I talk to people all over the world. We are all the same. We are all the same, and everybody is unique. But we have the same human values. And I think that's what we need to discover right now. Stop shaming, because you can never be perfect, because you're one of one. Stop shaming, because that's the spiritual problem, because you say you exist and you say, I'm flawed. You can't be flawed. You can't. It's impossible. And nature has no surplus, has no lack, is always have a solution, always adjusts, and is perfect. Every science will tell you. They don't even know how water comes from roots. They can't replicate how water comes from roots against gravity into leaves.
Yeah.
And as long as nature is perfect, we are perfect, because as far as I thought, we are still a part of nature, which is a different species, but we are part of nature.
Yeah.
We're not better. We're not worse. We're part of nature. I'm not saying, you're the same as a turtle. No, you're obviously not the same as a turtle. But a giraffe is not the same as an elephant either. It's just, you're just a different kind. The eagle sees better than we do. We just have, we're conscious of being conscious, So let's use that instead of becoming more unconscious, and just like with the beggar, just walking by each other, all reacting versus acting. Because what you do is in this system, you're just reacting. You try to get attention. Say, Krystal, look, Krystal. And you lost your train of thought. You lost what you're supposed to think about. And I get all the attention, and then I see nothing. And I want to sell you something. This is making the number one value in system is attention currently. You get attention. Nobody has the time. Krystal, nobody has the time. You could be the perfect person this could be the perfect show episode. And the people have not the time to find out. It doesn't matter how much advertising you do. And by the way, advertising budget has not changed in 50 years, because it's just shifting from, now we're going to do all that. Everybody does podcasts and this, but you need to do the podcast because of the experience. then money will come later. I mean, that's why you do art. Milk the moment. Then you feel rich, like you felt rich after the theater.
Yeah.
So milk the moment. Everything else is a mind construct anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. Milk the being.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. The being, not the doing, which I absolutely, that is a message I so have needed to hear over the last little while. And so I'm very, very grateful for you, bringing it out and reminding me that it's in the being, it's in those moments, it's in those, because I remember that. And I think we all remember that on some levels. There are moments that we're like, gosh, this is amazing. And we get to take a moment to take that in. But I think there are moments that we start to lean more on the system and believe more in the system and believe that we're supposed to be, quote, quote, more than we are. And that's when we start to feel more shame and more sadness because we aren't achieving, we aren't doing more, we aren't contributing to whatever society and the system say we are. And when we lose that vision, when we lose that sight, it is so far to fall. And yet all we have to do is take a step sideways and remind ourselves being in this moment is a gift. So I'm probably going to be making little signs and putting them all over my house to remind me of my humanity versus the systems and being and doing. And they're things that I have thought about before. And yet the way that you put it, the vocabulary that you're using right now is so, it's not system
vocabulary, you know?
It's speaking to me in my heart in this moment. And I'm very grateful that, the humanity and the universe, the powers that be have brought us together so that I can enjoy that. So thank you so much.
Krystal, I give you other thing is what we forgot is that we are driven to inclusion. We are in order to find the puzzle piece that we are in the human weave. We gotta experience other humans. We gotta experience, and not as me versus them, me better than me. So we need to experience how. I mean, you people can see that in this episode. How people can build up the energy. People feel the energy that's going on between us. And that energy is the experiential energy of togetherness. We are supposed to be together. We have a fraction of, you can say a part of God or whatever. We are a part of a bigger thing.
Right.
And the defining our definition of what part am I, not in the system, but as a human. You might have zero system value, but look what the beggar on Fifth Avenue has. The value, the awareness that he triggers. Sadly, he's not aware either, but the awareness he triggers that people, I said, hey, reality hits you. You can end up like this. And all that bullshit with the Christmas shopping and this and that shopping and doing what everybody does at that time, it's irrelevant. It's you can be one day really great Christmas, and then you'll be the worst father or the worst mother or whatever, you know, or the worst kid for that matter. So it's really, you need to know that I'm connecting again to sexuality because your most fertile human, this is also a DNA drive. You are most fertile when you're like 15, 16 to whatever, 24 or 28. I think 28 is the DNA marker when it actually stops the drive. But the drive of being inclusive doesn't stop. See, when you're 28, the marker stops because after 28, according to nature, to our thing, you don't have a drive, meaning not that you all of a sudden don't want sex, but it's not a driven thing. You have sex because you like this person or whatever you want. When you're till 28, you believe that you want to have babies, and you don't even know you don't want to have babies. It's just a drive. We are driven by our DNA to procreate, because that's the best window. 15 to 28 is the best window to procreate for humanity to sustain the species. But the drive to be inclusive doesn't stop. It doesn't have a thing. You always want to, till your last breath, you want to not figure out that studying, sense it, experiencing what is your puzzle piece.
Yeah.
And then, because I hate that, I mean, I don't hate it, but I think it's so ridiculous to think, what do you want your legacy to be? You are a legacy no matter what. You know, it's funny to see what you want in a legacy. I want to be the Elon Musk. That is not a legacy. That's a system definition. It's not a legacy in the human weave.
Yeah.
It's not a legacy. Einstein was in the system too. He's not a thing in the human weave. He did very smart things. What is your puzzle piece? How do you fit in?
Right.
Without fame, without success, it is not dependent on this. Obviously, the more you fit in, the more the system recognizes you. It's like the artist. The clearer you are in the communication, if you keep practicing the non-physical to the physical, to clearer it will be, and to more radical people will react to that, meaning they either push you away and say, no, that's not my thing, or they will embrace you. But it's always a yin and yang. It's not mean because you found your puzzle piece that you're going to be liked, but you will find parts where you fit in. There's two things. One is the space to fit in, right? The puzzle piece where you put it. And the other, first is to find it. And then the second is, now where do I fit in? Yeah. So the first step in evolution of humans that I see is you find your puzzle piece. So I hit the wall. Yeah. You find it, you find art with 30. You find, everything I did is art. I don't need the system tell me I'm an artist. I am an artist. So you integrate that. It's a part of me, my puzzle piece. And then you keep going and you keep going. And now you have to find where, once you have a kind of a puzzle piece, you see where I'm in. And then you have to find that. And that's also important, you know. Right. But the clearer you are, the happier we'll be, because you're at least clear. You're dependent on the puzzle, the play. You're dependent on, okay, I know I'm that puzzle. Yeah. And that gives you inner peace. Mm-hmm. I mean, inner peace should give you that you are one of one. Nobody is like you. That should give you inner peace, you know, and you're unique. Yeah. So you can't fit in a system. Nobody can fit in a system. You can adapt with your superpower to be a system navigator. But, and some people are more unconscious, as you know, they can be the best system. They can be like robots. So I'm not afraid of having robots out. I'm afraid of humans so adjusting that they act like robots, you know? Mm. Yeah. That's why you have mass shootings and all that stuff. So because people copy video games or whatever, this is such a superpower, the adaptability. I mean, how would we survive slavery, wars, Holocaust? How will we survive that? We are adaptable like nature. That's the superpower. And the ultimate superpower is, which I tell leaders all the time, I keep because I'm always in the leader's position. So, and I had to find that also out. I wasn't aware. I thought I'm just a loudmouth that gets people to do things. But I realized what leadership is. It's a function of the team. And what is the ultimate power? Balance. You need both. You need all. You need the hard asses and you need the soft woman. You need all the stuff. And what a leader is supposed to do is balancing the team as a team member and keeping everybody in power balance. That means having people laugh, being human. having people laugh, making the job a fun place where you want to go. Now, when have you heard that the last time? I have heard that in Google, where they try to do all this stuff and the people still don't like to go. So, you need to make life a fun, because ultimately when the work is a system related work and you don't understand what it does for humans, you can never,
right.
Bookkeeping, you cannot make fun. A bookkeeping job,
I don't know. There are probably puzzle pieces out there that love
You
the
are
challenge
correct.
of the numbers. And so bookkeeping is fun for them, especially if their boss, or if they are their own boss, recognizes their humanity and celebrates their humanity in that joy. I think we have the ability to create wonderful,
limitless, no limits, limitless
jobs, businesses, whatnot, that support each other in the humanity aspect of life and encourage fewer of the systems and more of the let's celebrate our own puzzle piece. Let's celebrate our own qualities and our own uniqueness and how we all fit into this tapestry in such a beautiful way, individually and yet together to create a whole. Because like you said, we need each other as well as we need to be our own whole, complete self at the same time. So there's a balance somewhat to be struck there, because we cannot, like, if we're a puzzle piece, I have this jar. My mom loves to do puzzles. And so I have this jar of lost puzzle pieces, and it is the saddest jar. Because there are 4 puzzle pieces in that jar, and I cannot find which puzzles these poor pieces go to. And yet they seem so alone. And each one of us is so beautiful and so unique. And we all fit into this. And in beautiful, beautiful ways, we have so much to give and so much to offer, whether you're an ant or an elephant or a cheetah or an aardvark. It does not matter. You are, even a mosquito has a reason. Absolutely.
And you have to try to see it, be open to that. I think it's a focusing. I'm not want to get away off system. I don't want to rebel or anything. I say, we are the gods of system. We can't change if it's raining tomorrow or not, but we can change if a company abuses their workers, or if 60% of this world have to work and live. The workforce, 60% of the workforce has to live with $5.50 a day. I mean, and we throw away 2.5 times. We make 2.5 times more food than we need, and daily die 25,000 people on hunger. If that's a system we created, and there we don't shame ourselves. It's funny. We just accept it, right?
Yeah.
We just accept that. We're not shame. It's okay. As long as I have food, I don't know the 25,000, and you can't even compartmentalize it. You can, I tell you, it's figures. It's a system. It's figures. But the thing is, we need to change. Since we are the gods, let's take responsibility of our systems and make them human adapt and underline. First priority is humans and nature. That is the first priority. Not God, not religion, no system. Human nature, as far as we know from experiencing, is number one. And we created system. We're making sure that we don't pollute the nature for us. Nature you can't destroy nature. When you look at Chernobyl, the atomic reactor, it's all overgrown. In 100 years, you don't even see that there was an atomic reactor. We don't need to save, because that's just a distraction again. We don't need to save nature. We need to save us and the impact that we do on nature, that we don't extinguish us. But you can leave nature alone. It doesn't matter. It adapts. Huh? So, there's a different, but see, there's a different perspective of how, say recycle plastic and all that stuff. It's not a doing, it's an understanding and awareness. And when you get that awareness out, the change will happen automatically. When I see t-shirts now, And I know there's gallons and gallons of water. 800 liters of water is used per one T-shirt. And see, this is the discrepancy. If a T-shirt costs $5, you buy 5 T-shirts. If a T-shirt would cost the right amount of money and you can wear it forever, I mean, how many things you're throwing away? It's 10% of the carbon footprint is closing. I mean, and we can't, well, and you tell me we have no power over this? We created this crap.
Yeah. And if we created it, we have the power to change it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I cannot say, okay, we should have, we can change the nature that we have more oil in the future and that we have rare earth in the future and then we have more oxygen and less carbon. We can't change that, but we can change it in the context of humanity and say, whatever we do, we can't do this because we can't breathe in Beijing in the Olympics, you know? We can't breathe. So it's not, the nature doesn't care. And by the way, without humans, systems are irrelevant. Who cares about systems? If there's no humans, you think the giraffe cares because Apple went under, you know? And it's just, you know, it doesn't. And we have, and if we behave in a way that isn't suited to nature, we will extinguish ourselves. I mean, you know, nature keeps going on. There's no dinosaurs anymore because they were not nature adapt.
Yeah.
And we show the same thing. We are not adapting to nature. We are just adapting to systems. And I think that's where the breakdown is. Thank you for being such a great canvas too, because I never thought about that, you know? I never thought about these things because this shows you the superpower of the dialogue. A lot of things that I said today, Krystal, I say always the elephant and the ant. I use those things, but it go into depth with you. That's really nice.
Well, I'm really glad that I could provide a space for you to just go for it.
But what systems say space isn't worth anything? Space is more worth because I can't paint without a canvas. I can't make music without silence. This is more worth without the space, the feminine, you know, without the space, you can't, there is nothing.
Yeah.
You need space and silence, you know?
Yeah. Is there we are running short on time. Is there anything else that you would really want to impart or mention before we have to sign off?
No, there's so much in this episode. I would love to people keep I mean, this is amazing what's happening in this episode. So I hope that people keep re-listening. And hey, if you think something what I said is not right, and it's not about right or wrong, but if you can't associate with it, and then write to you. They should write to you.
Yeah.
And we do a second one where we answer all the questions. How's that?
Sure. I'm fine with that. If there's anything that you guys want us to dive in deeper on, or if you have other questions you want clarification, or you don't really agree, feel free to comment and we can absolutely revisit this because I know I'll be listening to it multiple times. There were things that piqued my interest and then we kept moving so fast that I couldn't really dive into the other things deeper. And so this has been very enlightening. Very much. I'm so grateful for you coming on and letting us connect today. So thank you for joining me. Yep. Wow. Yeah.
And I'm not a part of system. You see, I'm actually expressing. I'm actually living what I preach. Yeah. Because obviously I was influenced by systems. I was born in a hospital and so, but because I couldn't, because of my neurodiversities, I couldn't. Yeah. And now I show you that even according to system, I have a zero value system value. I'm not a money maker, Yeah. But look at what this did, Yeah.
So if people want to if people want to touch base with you, connect with you, find you, how do they do that?
I have just one hub. That's michaelm.com. Michael with two L's. Michael, Michaell m.com. And then you find all the social and everything on it.
Beautiful. I want to thank you again for being here today. And until next time, we'll see you again here on Breathe In, Breathe Out.
Thank you.
I hope this moment of self-care and healing brought you some hope and peace. I'm Krystal Jakowski on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and I hope you check us out and follow along for more content coming soon. I look forward to being with you again here on Breathe In, Breathe Out. Until next time, take care.